Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop is focused on one thing, single barrels. Best of all, you can try before you buy. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to sign up for their email and text distribution so you know what they have in stock, what classes are coming up, and who from the industry may be coming in to visit. The ABV Barrel Shop. It's where single barrels live. We are also sponsored by the Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers traveling minibars that are no bigger than a small purse or toiletry bag. Best of all, they are fully customizable so you can create the perfect piece that is unique for you. If you own your own business, what a fun and unique way to promote what you do. Check them out online at thebar2go.com. That is the number 2 in the Bar to Go. If you have wholesale questions, call my friend Isabel Clark at 504-481-1297. Finally, we are sponsored by the Neely Family Distillery. NFD is a family-owned business that keeps ringing up awards in the spirits world. Head to Sparta, Kentucky to experience the family history, award-winning spirits, and meet the Neely family. Check them out online at neelyfamilydistillery.com. Now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today we have a special show here from the ABV Barrel Shop where we are going to be rating the regulars. My name is Steve Akeley. I'm joined by Darren McCroy. What's up, Darren?
Nothing. What's up with you, Steve?
Not much. So yeah, we always have some fun with this, and we rate our regulars based on the people who give us joy when they come in here. And it's just time to do a new list. The last time we did this was 111?
Yeah.
Well, that's been a while, so yeah, we needed to do this, so that's a good thing, so very fun. All right, so before we get to all that, though, Darren, you said there's something you want to talk about. What is that, sir?
So, you mentioned a saying or something, and I didn't get the reference. Yeah. What do you think is the most iconic, like, if you say this quote, people all think of the same thing? Is it, what, like, saying either a famous person from a movie, what is the most...
There's a lot of them.
I
mean, you know, Go Crazy Folks certainly is the local tie. And I think a lot of St. Louisans would say that is it. On a national level, would all of them say the same? I think a lot of them know it, especially if they know baseball.
Yeah.
But is that the most one? I think the one that transcends, because it's the Olympics, it's not tied to one city or something like that, is Miracle on Ice. Do you believe in miracles?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I think that's probably...
And it's a Disney movie, too. So
well, sure.
And that, like, adds... It keeps it going for generations, right?
Right. I would say, yeah, that's probably as good as it gets on us saying that.
So, see, I was thinking, and this is going to disprove my point because I don't know who actually says it. I can't remember his name. But let's get ready to rumble!
Oh, yeah.
That is
Michael
something
Buffer.
Everyone has heard before, right? Like,
right.
It is a very common thing, and so that was the first one on my mind. And then the other one, but I think I just hear it so much because people are making fun of it. But like James Bond ordering a martini shaken, not stirred.
Uh-huh.
Like you hear people say that all the time. Everyone knows it's from James Bond. It doesn't matter if you're my age or younger,
or if you watch the movies or not.
Yeah,
it transcends.
I've seen one James Bond movie ever, and it wasn't in that movie. So
really,
yeah.
Well, you probably watched one of the newer ones, right?
Yeah, I did. I saw it in a movie theater. Everyone else was going. I didn't care.
Yeah, to me that kind of died with. I mean, in reality, about halfway through, what was it? Roger Moore's run. He was good starting out, and then he just got old and hung on too long. And that was kind of it for Bond for me.
Yeah.
Pierce Brosnan, I watched. There was another guy in there, too. I forget his name. And, of course, Daniel Craig. I wasn't huge fans of any of them. They're all okay. I mean, they're not bad movies, but they're also just not super outstanding like the other ones were.
But people compare it to, like, Indiana Jones and Star Wars that came out at the same time. I just don't think it could even be close. I think... Right. Indiana Jones is always going to be cooler than James Bond, but I think Indiana Jones is just cool. So, growing up, that's who I thought was the coolest person.
Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting.
Besides, he's scared of snakes. That makes him slightly less cool.
He doesn't like the snakes, no. Well, what do you think about snakes?
I love snakes.
Really?
Yeah, they don't faze me at all.
I'm not really scared of them. I don't like them.
Yeah.
I got no time for them things. You see that video online, it pops up every once in a while. It's a guy just by himself. His job's to feed the poisonous snakes. He drops a rat in there, opens a drawer, drops a rat in, closes it. And there's ones that are popping out. They're like the most venomous snakes in the world.
Yeah,
he's like super laid back. He's like whistling, very casual about it.
Something prehistoric's Jack maybe is his name. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah,
he owns a big thing. It's somewhere dumb too. It's like Kansas or
really.
Yeah, that you can go visit. Big reptile show.
Feels like that's how it ends for you when you start getting. This is something I do every day. I can whistle while I do it.
Yeah.
That's when you let your guard down just enough that they get you.
Yep.
And they only got to get you once. That's the problem. You can have, 10 straight years of good days and not everything. And then 10 years in one day, you let your guard down. That's when they get you.
Yep. So at the zoo or herpetarium, there's a guy that's been working there for 25 years, all in herpetarium, and he specializes in venomous animals.
Right.
And he has a higher level of certification than, I think there's 3 other people in the country that have this certification that have gone through this.
Okay.
And he's still, if you're back there with him and he's opening up a venomous thing, he says, we're not talking now, we are focusing on what we're doing. And making sure that doesn't happen is a big thing.
Right.
That he teaches.
Does they have any anti-venom on site at the zoo?
Yes.
They do?
Fun fact. So they have more than any local hospital.
Really?
So when if you get bit by something, most local hospitals will have copperhead. That's about it. They don't even have rattlesnake, which would be the dangerous one here in Missouri. Mm-hmm. They will call the St. Louis Zoo to get anti-venom.
Okay.
So that's why a lot of times you'll hear, you don't actually hear about it, but you hear through the grapevine people getting airlifted to barns.
Right, because it's close to the zoo.
And there is a helicopter spot that they could land in the zoo if they absolutely need to, and then put it in there. But usually they can beat the helicopter there because it's just down the road, right?
Right, yeah.
So at any given time, they have 20 to 30 different antivenoms that are in date, and then they have a bunch of expired ones because they only have a 6-month shelf life.
Right.
And some of the crazy endangered ones are so expensive to milk that they're it's better than nothing.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
We can either do nothing and you're gonna die, or we can use this one that's a little out of date
and you might hallucinate a little bit more.
Right.
But also, some of the snakes, it doesn't matter if you don't administer it in there's several snakes there that first off, it is no antivenom. And it's so fast acting that no one could realize inland taipans can kill you in a second. No one can realize that you're dead. So
yeah.
And that's why the lids never fully come off at the zoo, because it just gravity.
Yeah. That's gotta be. What's the most dangerous to work with? If you're at the zoo, is it that job there working with the snakes, or is it someone who's working with something like the hippos, or the bears, or what would be the most dangerous zoo job? This is subjective.
Yeah, this is very subjective. It depends on the zoos. And AZA accredited, which is the facility that goes and maintains all zoos.
Right.
Hippos and elephants aren't really that dangerous because there's so many protocols in place.
Okay.
You can't share the same space as an elephant. There always has to be 6 inches of steel between you and an elephant. Okay. And you can't get stepped on. So that makes it I would say yes, there's the dangerous
chimps because they're fast and strong.
Yes, but there's also a lot of precautions for them.
And mean.
And double locks, triple locks, because some of them can figure out locks too.
Right.
And then the herpetarium's a good guess, but they also have a bunch of rules. I'm going to go with an out there answer, and I'm actually going to say the insectarium keepers. Now, granted, these are people that have been with bugs their whole life.
Right.
But they literally keep things in little containers that can be highly venomous. And you can lose sight of easily. Snakes strike fast, but they don't disappear from sight. you know where it is as long as you can find it. And that's like the first step. You identify where the snake is, and then you go in and keep your distance and move it if you have to. But also, again, in AZA accredited facilities, it's very safe. That's part of the accreditation process is how safe is your staff.
Sure. But shit happens.
Sure.
Yeah.
Not as often as... A lot of times that you hear about shit happening, it's not at AZA accredited zoos.
Right. This is true. What... As a guy who likes animals, what's the scariest animal?
Chimpanzee is the one that scares the living daylights out of me.
Really?
Nothing else really scares me. And like, I still go see the chimps. Like, I can walk by them and stuff. But I've read all the horror stories.
Yeah, they're bad.
My camp counselor, so I went to...
And our guard's down with them because most of our exposure to chimps... They seem pretty cool. We see them in movies and stuff, and they just seem fun. They seem like jokers.
Yep.
But that's not really how they are.
No.
Mature male is very dangerous.
Mm-hmm. When I went to the zoo camp when I was little, there was a counselor there who actually got attacked by chimps when he was studying them in Africa.
Uh-huh.
And, like, messed him up bad. I won't go into all the gory details. But I remember hearing about that when I'm 7.
Right.
And so that stuck with me. And then... also makes you really respect Jane Goodall for the things that she was able to observe and be accepted by, because they're terrifying, and she didn't flinch once.
Uh-huh.
And same thing with Diana Fossey, who is the Jane Goodall for gorillas, and she just went through and like would get this close to a 400-pound gorilla, and it was perfectly fine. So.
Yeah. What do you think is the true most dangerous animal for most people? And I'll go first because I have opinions on this. I mean, I get it. There's more dangerous animals. The polar bear. But what are the chances of an average person having an interaction with a polar bear or a grizzly bear? There's really not. Hunters have to deal with some of these things, but the average person really doesn't. I think it's got to be the alligator because. Again, not all of us live in an area. Missouri would never have to deal with that. But you look at the population that lives in, it's a pretty large segment of our population that lives in areas where alligators are. They'll come in your backyard. You happen to be out with the family swimming somewhere. Don't really. And the thing about an alligator is most of these things will avoid you. Even a grizzly bear is not necessarily immediately attracted and going to come after you. But an alligator, if you're in the water in their area, they're going to come after you. You are prey for them. That if they're not even hungry right now, you're like, well, they're not. If they're not hungry, they'll just kill you. They want to kill you, and they want to stuff you down in some hole somewhere, and they'll get you next week.
Yeah. Do you want the fun answer or the boring answers? Because the boring answer, which is the right answer, is mosquitoes. Nothing kills more people than mosquitoes.
We're not talking about mosquitoes. That's while they may fit in the animal kingdom, I'm talking about something that's not a bug. Someone would do.
And then the other two most boring answers are white-tailed deer and cattle.
Okay.
They kill more people than any other animal than alligators ever have. But I'm saying
I don't think most people. I mean, people who are farmers have a lot of interaction with cattle. The average day person isn't going to be stomped by cattle or cows or anything like that. Again, it's specialized. It's people who are in that not lifestyle, but they've chosen that as their...
Well, then I could argue that most people...
An alligator, I might be just in my backyard. I could be in my pool. I jump in my pool.
It's specialized to Florida, though. And Louisiana.
Louisiana, North Carolina, South Carolina.
Sure, on the inlets.
How many people is that, though? 25 million out of 300 million?
I was going to say, if you're taking a percentage of the total population... It's, again, rats or mosquitoes, but then most people live in cities.
How many of us then go to those areas and vacation to those areas? Like, how many of us are in the woods of Montana? Not a lot of us.
Yeah.
How many of us are down in Florida at somewhere, like a Disney resort where people have gotten attacked by alligators on Disney property?
Yeah.
I mean, when you combine who lives there and who goes there, that's a lot of the population.
Sure.
That's why I think it's alligator.
Yeah, the stats say otherwise. Is all I if you want to eliminate everything else that I've said, because whitetail deer hit cars all the time. It is a big cause of death.
Yeah,
and because they're with automobiles, but they're really
hitching the rides to ticks that are going to get us down the road.
Yeah,
going back to the bugs. Ticks fall under bugs.
Yeah, well, they're arachnids, so yes,
right,
I'll give it to you. But venomous snakes are up there, I would say, if you wanted to argue against alligators when we've been eliminating things.
Yeah.
Find them in a wood pile, find them in your backyard, rattlesnakes.
Bigger area that they're in as well.
Yeah.
And they're also to the places where we vacation. We might be on a hike in some cool place, and there's a rattlesnake there.
I definitely don't think it's bears or any of the other big animals. I think a lot of people always wanted the answer to this question, and the answer is usually something smaller than you expect.
Right.
Just because... And we're lucky in America, we really don't have that venomous of snakes. Like, rattlesnakes are really the top echelon of our venom here. And then places like Australia or Malaysia have... depends on the season in Australia, when the sea crates are migrating. You can have 5 of the top 10 most venomous snakes in the world at any given point in Australia.
Right.
And so, when you're looking at a worldwide level... And you're going to exclude mosquitoes, I would say venomous snakes. Either bushmasters or fertiliances in South America. Taipans don't really see people. They're more exclusive. But if you ever get bit, you're dead. And another one, which again, you're probably going to say doesn't count because it's a bug, first off. And it's an allergic reaction. But bees kill a lot of people a year, too.
Sure. It falls under the bugs, though. Bugs would be the most dangerous by far if we allow bugs. And the list, if you would say the animal kingdom does include bugs, which it does. But if you're going to say that's part of this thing, then in the top 100 is probably going to be different types of bugs. Maybe more than the top 100. Maybe the top 1,000. I don't know. There's a lot.
Well, yeah, if you're going down to species level, there could be a lot, right? There's... this is an interesting study that no one really cares about besides me, but a guy in Florida is an entomologist, and he did a study on all the different types of mosquitoes.
Right.
And not all mosquitoes can carry diseases, it's only some. But he was watching one puddle and everything that came into this one little puddle, basically. And he found 17 different species.
Mosquitoes?
In that part of Florida alone. Mm-hmm. So, like, if you're doing every species of mosquito.
So, the final take on this is, I still say it's alligator, only because they're trying to kill you. The deer, yes, I get it. The deer aren't trying to kill you. They're just trying to live their life.
They're just dangerous.
They happen to get in the way. And,
yeah.
The one that's looking for you, even if people, they're probably screaming, right? Sharks, it's sharks, it's sharks. Not sharks don't care about you. They
more people die to vending machines than sharks every year.
Yeah. So it's not, the answer is definitely not sharks. But the alligator, they want you. Yeah. You look delicious to them.
No, it's not even that you look delicious. They just don't care, right? Like, there's nothing that scares an alligator.
Right.
They're just not scared of anything.
No.
It's like hippos. Hippos are very, very deadly. They don't even eat meat.
Right.
But they are
very deadly.
They're the deadliest mammal in Africa for humans.
Right. Yeah.
Not including everything that's not a mammal. But, alligator, I think, is an okay answer. I just think... How often do you hear about someone dying from an alligator attack, though?
But when it happens, they're memorable. They're terrifying. It's not good. Yeah. It's not fun.
Sure,
it's not pleasant.
Sure, I can see it. I disagree, but I can see it.
They're never good.
I mean, it's never look. That's a nice way to go. It's rough, nasty process, but
right, yeah. You don't want it. So, but all right, we got way off the rails there. What are we drinking here before we head out to break?
We have an exclusive here to the ABV Barrel Shop, so in a barrel shop full of a bunch of single barrels. That's not very uncommon, but for this one, it kind of is. This is the first investment single barrel to ever be just released in one single place. Everything he does is single barrel,
right? And
this is the apple brandy cask that we got going on here.
Which we also had a single barrel of the apple brandy from Nobleton's Distilling House. So, cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
Let's give this thing a taste. That is very nice.
Fantastic.
Really good stuff. So what we'll do next, we'll take a quick break, and then when we come back, it's going to be time to rate the regulars. We'll do that in just a few. Okay, let's talk about the people that make these shows happen. First up is the Stave and Thief Society. Via their in-person class at Moonshine University in Louisville, Kentucky, the Stave and Thief Society is the place where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge an executive bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my executive bourbon steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Speaking of Executive Bourbon Steward certification, the ABV Barrel Shop in St. Louis, Missouri has developed a unique partnership with the Stave and Thief Society to offer a preparatory class to assist you in getting your Executive Bourbon Steward certification. This prep class costs only $25 and is available to take live or online via Zoom. Graduates of our class receive a coupon code good for 15% off your Executive Bourbon Steward certification held in Louisville, Kentucky. This saves you almost $90. Additionally, you can collaborate with fellow attendees to split travel costs when you go to Louisville. If you're interested in signing up for the class, simply head over to abvbarrelshop.com and check out the classes and events page. Last but not least, we are sponsored by Neely Family Distillery. Royce Neely is the 11th generation distiller in one of America's oldest distilling families. A visit to Neely Family Distillery takes you through family history, where you can see all the artifacts and newspaper clippings through the years from this family that started distilling in America after James Neely arrived from Northern Ireland in 1740. Today, Royce Neely and his team are crafting some of the best spirits in America. Their bourbon and absinthe offerings keep winning top honors in spirits competitions. Recently, their absinthe made history as the first platinum winner in the absinthe category at the San Francisco Spirits Competition. Neely Family Distillery is definitely a bucket list destination if you are a bourbon fan. Learn more about their spirit offerings, visiting their facility, and the awards they have collected over at NeelyFamilyDistillery.com. And now, back to the show.
My teeth doesn't like ice cream. This is MacLeod, and you're listening to the Bourbon Daily.
That's a pro. That's a pro right there. Take MacLeod. All right, everybody, welcome back. It's Steve and Darren. We're here at the ABV Barrel Shop getting ready to rate the regulars. We took a little break there. We had my niece Tessa come in. She's celebrating her 13th birthday today, so shout out to her. And yes, she was here dropping off cupcakes from her party. So I went to lunch with them, but then I had to come back and didn't get to stay for the dessert round. So they dropped off some cupcakes for Darren and I. So they were pretty good, right?
Yeah, they were delicious cupcakes.
There you go. All right. So here, who is nominated? So this is our top 20. So Dave Hoyle, Wayne Van Sluis. These are in no order, of course. Josh Dale, Clayton Seabacker, Tim Howard, the Modicas, KK and New Guy, Bob Miramonte, Dave Hogan Miller, Michael Steinkamp, Sean Bequette, Meredith and Matt, Rick Ernst Jr., Trevor Stefanski, Demetrius Kane, his first appearance on the nominees. How about that? Chris Schott, Glenn Kavanaugh, Kent Glover. I believe that's his first time he's been on the top 20. Harold Hauska and Jason Rack. Those are our 20 right there. And I'm going to open this thing up. I think number one is a lock this month. Or when I say this month, of course, we do this whenever we feel like it. It's not a monthly thing.
Whatever, this time period?
Right. I think it's a no-brainer. Dave Hoyle is one of our best customers. He's a great guy. Enjoy being around him every time he comes in. And he retired. It's a big moment in his life. I think that vaults him to number one. Not that he needed special circumstances to become number one. I think that, but that clears out anything.
He's only been retired a week.
Right.
And we've already seen him a lot more than we usually do because he's free to come spend more time with us.
Exactly. So I think that's a no-brainer. And again, congrats to Dave on the retirement. That's really cool. Sounds like he's got some cool plans going on right now. We'll see what happens. We said if you want to come up here and work, he could do that. He may get there. I don't know. His initial plans are, number one, what a lot of people do when they retire, which is his plans, is all the projects, the things that have been piling up. So he's going to be busy for probably 6 months doing those, and then I know he wants to do some travel too, and he wants to kind of conquer kind of some of the local things that low-hanging fruit. So it sounds like he's going to be gone a bunch, probably during the summertime, not necessarily right now. But maybe once all that's settled down and he decides he wants something to do, you may come in and he may be here working with us.
And him and Pam were at the game night that we had at the Speakeasy, which is...
Yeah, they're big supporters not only of this side of the wall, but that side as well.
Yeah.
They attend most of our Speakeasy events. We had a great time. Board game night might be my new favorite. We do a lot of cool stuff, heel parties, and which that's last pour in a bottle. I don't know if we need to define that, but so we do that kind of stuff. We do bottle shares and all kinds of other cool things. Theme nights, yeah. So fun stuff, but that board game night was great. So hopefully that grows a little bit. We only had 7 people, so hopefully we can double that next time and go from there. We'll see. All right, number 2, Darren. Who do you think comes in at number 2?
I'm stuck between 2 people.
Okay.
They were both at board game night.
Okay.
That's just not related. I think... See, this is the thing. When someone is consistently great and consistently here all the time, how do you ever knock them down?
Right.
But I think I'm just going to take a stab at it, and I'm going to say Tim Howard is number 2.
Tim Howard is number 2.
He was sick, so he missed a few events. We'll give him that off, but he comes in, talks to everyone. Everyone knows Tim at this point. I think he is a great regular to have around.
Yeah. He's definitely a great guy. And definitely gives us joy for sure. And I think he brings joy to all that are here at the ABV Barrel Shop. So that is consistent as well. Well, then number 3 has to be Wayne Van Sluis.
Yep.
Wayne is a great guy. I talked to his mom this week. How about that?
Yeah.
How about that? So it's almost Wayne's birthday. It's not quite yet, but it's almost his birthday. And his mom called in and she bought a gift card for him for his birthday, which is very cool. So we had the whole conversation with her. She's like, I don't live there, but my son does. I'd like to get a gift card and stuff like that. And really, really cool stuff. And at the end of it, I said, okay, last thing I need is, who is your son? And she said, Wayne Van Sluis. I'm like, Wayne Van Sluis? Oh, man, I should have, if I had known that. This is great. So, yeah. So that was really cool. All right, now it starts getting a little bit harder.
Yeah.
Right? Number 4, who do you think number 4 is?
I have a name. They're fantastic every time they come in. Talk about coming to all sorts of events. And one of these people tend to bring food in with them probably more than once they've done it in this time frame. And I'm, of course, talking about Meredith and Matt.
Okay.
Meredith is easily a fantastic cook and loves cooking. She brought in some pesto bread that she freshly baked last night. That was fantastic. A little bit.
She's not limited just to the sweets. So,
she can do anything. It doesn't matter.
No.
So that is my answer for number 4.
Okay, number 4. I heard a interesting stat about Meredith last night. She didn't realize until she was an adult that they have spaghetti sauce in a jar. How's that possible? Now I can understand. I never tasted spaghetti sauce out of a jar till I was an adult. I get that if you got a family that likes to cook and they like, but to not hear of it. What about, does she not watch TV because there's commercials? Not now, I don't think. But
I was going to say, I have never seen a spaghetti sauce commercial.
But years ago, there used to be Prego and Ragu. Both of them used to advertise a lot. Again, I think we're past kind of that era where they have that sort of discretionary income. And, of course, just going to the grocery store. Do you not go to the grocery store? There's a whole, it's like half an aisle of that.
I'm going to defend her here because up until I was an adult and actually going to the grocery store for myself, I didn't know half of the stuff was just available on the shelves. Like, I don't think anything is, because I grew up in a spaghetti sauce family where we bought jars of sauce, so I knew that existed.
Right.
But I found out a lot when I started going to the grocery store by myself. And then I found out a lot more when I started working at a grocery store, too. And so your adult life could mean 18 years old, 19 years old, right? When you start going to the grocery store and finding these things out yourself. Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't know one thing. I didn't know that there was that many types of cereal. I thought there was just Frosted Flakes. There's a whole bunch more cereal than just Frosted Flakes.
How do you knew that?
Frosted Flakes and Fruit Loops. Okay, those are the two. But
did you go to the grocery store? Did your parents take you? Because they clearly would walk down the cereal aisle, and you had to see that there was lots of cereal. Maybe they said you could only get these two, or that was the one you liked and you didn't.
I will say, most of the time that I went to the grocery store, my dad was working. And so I would hang out with him a lot of the times that Mom was doing the whole shopping.
Right.
And so, like, I knew how to rotate yogurt. I started doing that at a young age because that's what he was always doing. But, and then once I got to 8 years old or 9 years old and I was home alone at any point.
But did you not watch TV? Because if you're a kid watching TV, there are cereal commercials even today. I talked about the spaghetti sauce doesn't really advertise.
Yeah.
The cereal's still advertised.
And I guess there was probably a couple more. I just don't have
like
memory
Lucky Charms.
of them.
Oh, the Lucky Charms.
Yeah, Lucky Charms. And Honey Nut Cheerios was my mom's favorite cereal,
Honey
and I'm
Nut
sure
Cheerios,
it was then.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is I didn't know the depth and the variety and the different kinds.
Okay.
That there's 15 different types of
I was
Cheerios.
worried she grew up in some sort of cult or something like that. So I was...
And the other thing you got to think of, I probably didn't go to the grocery store as much as Kat did. Because I had two sisters that were basically home all the time. And if you don't have to take your kid to the grocery store, it's a lot easier than having to take your kid to the grocery store. So
yeah, that would have been a family event for us for sure to go to the grocery store. Because I like the grocery store. I've talked about that. I worked in the business too. And but as a kid, I was fascinated with advertising, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be the initial thing I wanted to do after wanting to be a writer as a little kid. Then I wanted to be like writing advertising slogans and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I wanted something that offered you residuals and stuff like that, and so that's where I wanted to get into the advertising. I thought I could put together really cool advertising campaigns and songs and all kinds of cool stuff, but it didn't work out. Work out.
Fun fact that's completely not related to this show, but one of my sister's best friends in high school is the guy that came up. Her father is the guy that came up with Taste the Rainbow for Skittles.
Taste the Rainbow.
Like, that was his whole idea.
No.
Yeah, it is.
I don't think so.
I can confirm it, but yes.
Is he from St. Louis?
Yeah. Or he was living in St. Louis at that time. I don't know where he was born and raised, but...
Interesting.
And I know he does not live here now.
So, Taste the Rainbow... I don't know who owns Skittles. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And they would have done their advertising here in St. Louis area? Did he work for an advertising agency?
I think it was he was more of a freelance guy and just knew the right people and got involved in it.
Okay.
I think is my understanding. Again, I was 7.
Sounds questionable. It's like Dr. Evil's dad said he invented the question mark. Do you know who Dr. Evil is?
Nope. Whoosh, right over my head.
What the fuck? All right. Clayton Seabacker is clearly number 5. He could easily be, I don't know, probably anybody in our top 5 here could easily be number 1.
Yeah.
I love these people. These people are awesome that we've got here. They're not only our customers, they're not only the people that support us and our business here, they're our friends too. So I like all these people here, and Clayton certainly deserves, and again, he's been coming out crazily to more events.
Yeah.
Which I know it's not easy for him.
He's notoriously not an event guy.
Right. And he seems to have made some sort of commitment to be at more because he's showing up at more these days. Mm-hmm. And I know it's not easy for him. He's got a young family. I always have to give a benefit of the doubt somebody with a young family.
Well, like he was at the event last night, and he'd been at Children's Hospital twice this week with one of his kids. So, that's pretty good.
Exactly. All right, number 6, we're going to let you choose here. Who do you think?
I think I'm going to go with Kent Glover.
Kent Glover, okay.
Seen him a couple times here in the shop, but he's been going on 2. He went on 2 barrel picks that I was helped leading recently, and it's just all around good guy. Loves here. If he lived closer, we'd probably see him a lot more.
It's true.
He lives.
We see him quite a bit for not living close. He was here, I think, earlier this week.
Yeah.
He had like an eye doctor appointment or something, and apparently his eye doctor specialist that he was going to was somewhere around here.
Yeah.
Stopped
And
in.
so he lives like 45 minutes away.
Right.
You see him as much as we do. It's good.
Impressive. It's impressive for sure. All right. Let's recap now who's still available here. So Josh Dale, the Monicas, KK and New Guy, Bob Miramonte, Dave Hoganmiller, Steinkamp, Sean Bequette, Rick Ernst Jr., Trevor Stefanski, Demetrius Kane, Chris Schott, Glenn Kavanaugh, Harold Hauska, and Jason Rack. Damn, this is a tough lineup here. Mm-hmm. Very tough. I got to go Miramonte. I mean, he comes in a lot. Again, he doesn't necessarily live close either. It takes him, I don't know, a half an hour or so to get here, something like that. And he's a great guy. He's here all the time. Supports us in all our events and stuff like that.
And I'm saying, you say he's here all the time. I'm guessing I've seen him as many times by myself as you have.
Yeah.
He comes in here a lot on Sunday mornings and usually Saturday mornings too. Right. He's not in here today, but when he's out and about, he always makes an effort to stop.
He lives in, and again, this doesn't necessarily help the audience who's not from here, but he lives in Baldwin, and it'll make sense in a second here. I get a lot of people that come in and be like, I'd come in more, but I don't live close. I live in Baldwin. I think, well, Miramonte's in here 3 times a week.
Yeah.
He lives in Baldwin.
If we don't see him 3 times a week, we either know he's out of town or something's not right.
Right,
so.
yeah. Miramonte. Number 8. We got 3 spots left.
I don't like it. Can we just start doing the top 20?
We might have to.
This is too hard.
This is hard.
I think I'm going to have to give it to Trevor. He has been coming to events all the time, bringing his girlfriend. We've been giving him shit like a regular. I think we give him too much shit to not be on this list when we see him.
All right. So
and he's the nicest guy ever. At any event that he goes to, he will stop. He will not leave until he tells us both thank you for hosting the event. It does not matter. He does that every single night. I don't know a kid with that good of manners. I've never even dreamed of having that good of manners.
Right. Right. This is tough, but I got to go Monica's again because they're regular shoppers, regular event attendees, also do speakeasy stuff. So the Monica's is definitely somebody that needs to be on this list. So let's look at who we've got left. We only have 1 spot left. Darren's going to be choosing here, so let's go through this again. Josh Dale, Jesus Christ, he might not make the top 10. Yeah. Oh, that's terrible. He needs to be in there. KK and New Guy, great customers, great people, great friends. They got to be there. Hoganmiller, he's here probably more than anybody on the list.
Yeah.
Steinkamp, he's downturned a little. It would be tougher to put him in this time, maybe. I don't know. Maybe this is going to be up to you. Sean Bequette, he's certainly here a lot and does attend a lot of events, too. Rick Ernst Jr., one of those guys that's been coming on strong. Demetrius Kane, you talk about somebody we owe a lot of favors to, someone who has been here a lot recently and kind of lined out the first half of the year for us here recently, clearing out his schedule in some cases. There's nobody who does more for us at this store than Demetrius Kane. Chris Schott, the quirky Chris Schott, he's certainly in the mix. Glenn, again, big supporter of what we do. And it also does speakeasy stuff. Harold Hauska, always fun to talk to Harold. And then last but not least, Jason Rack, one of our top customers since we opened the door here, really. I mean, he's a guy who immediately gravitated towards what we do. So there we are, Darren. There's what you're facing. You got to pick out one more out of that list.
Yeah, and I think I have the name.
Okay.
I'm just going to say I don't think it's Josh Dale this time. I think he's missing the cut, and he's an awesome guy. Love hanging out with Josh.
I definitely would have put Josh in.
Also, I know Josh well enough that I can take the shit he's going to give me.
You're just hoping he doesn't listen because he's not an everyday listener.
Yeah, but he'll see the list and then go listen to the show.
Okay.
I'm
see
sure,
where it went wrong? Yeah. And
he likes to give me shit anyway. But I think I'm going to have to go Hoganmiller. Because like you said, he is in here. He was here twice yesterday.
Yeah.
and that's impressive whenever you're coming twice in a day. And yesterday at the Hill Party, he seemed to be the most. Everyone was just waiting to talk to Hogan Miller. Everyone that comes in loves to talk to Hogan Miller.
He's like a celebrity.
Yeah, it was like there was a little line.
I think you gave it to him because you're stealing my line now, because I, of course, used to watch when I was a kid, Hogan's Heroes, and Colonel Klink would say, Hogan! And so now I've started saying, Hogan Miller?
Yep. And you're right, I did start doing that.
You started doing it now.
Yeah, and it's fun, and it's different. At least we don't call him Oatmeal when he walks in, which is his preferred nickname.
Yeah.
We're better than that, so.
It's true.
But I have watched Hogan's Heroes, so at least I get the reference. But a lot of things you say, I don't get the reference.
Right.
But that one I do understand,
that one you do.
So.
Amazing. All right, there you go. There's the list. Dave Hoyle, Tim Howard, Wayne Van Sluis, Meredith and Matt, Clayton Seabacker, Kent Glover, Bob Miramonte, Trevor Stefanski, the Monicas, Dave Hogan Miller. That is our list. ABV Barrel Shop, Rate the Regulars 3/8/25 edition. That's when we're recording this, not when it's going to get released, of course. All right, we'll wrap this one up as we always do by talking about where people can find us. Darren, we'll start with you. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at The Bourbon Adventures, also several days a week here at the ABV Barrel Shop.
All right, for me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akeley, Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. We've also got a company website. That thing's abvnetwork.com. Check it out. Everything that we do is out there. Previous shows, blogs, so much more. abvnetwork.com. Come by and see us. The ABV Barrel Shop, the place where you can try before you buy. We're online, abvbarrelshop.com. Also, you want to get involved in the show, give us a 5-star review with comments. It helps new people find the show. That's pretty darn important to us. And last but not least, head over to patreon.com/the ABV Network. Check out what's going on there. That's it for now. We'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
Bye, y'all.
Peace. Before we let you go, let's talk about one last thing. The ABV Barrel Shop in the St. Louis community of Arnold, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop is focused on a couple of things. First of all, single barrels. We are the place where single barrels live. We go to distilleries, taste through the whiskey, select the best barrel, and have it shipped to our store where we present it to you, our customers, by allowing you to try before you buy. We're also known for the classes that we have in our education center in the store, as well as the events we have with industry professionals from the bourbon business. If you are in the St. Louis area, please come by and visit us at 6 Fox Valley Center in Arnold, Missouri. Or at a minimum, at least sign up for our email and text distribution so you know exactly what's going on in our shop over at abvbarrelshop.com. This is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network, signing off. We thank you for listening to our programming and truly appreciate your support.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.